Hello, I'm going to be talking through our Underhand official trailer for our advanced media portfolio. The first shot starts off with a black screen which depicts the distribution and production companies. We chose Open Road as it's not one of the major big three labels, and the films they distribute are usually low budget with niche audiences. This fits to our Neo-Noir film because Neo-Noir is quite a niche genre that has obviously a niche audience. Here we see an establishing shot of a living room. We see our main protagonist Ross with his son James. This shows that there's a loving, strong bond between the two of them. It also shows that Ross is a good person due to him wearing a police uniform. Police officers / detectives are a convention of noir. Also, it shows that he's really committed and a good guy because he's wearing his police uniform at home. Here we hear a knock on the door and the little boy running towards the camera shouting, "Mummy." We presume that his mum's come to pick him up. It questions the bond between the father and the son and the mother and the son as to who's stronger, because he's shown running away from his father. "For God's sake, Ross, open the door," is what Stacey, the mother, says. This shows that she's aggressive and short-tempered and that she's likely to have been waiting there for a long time. This shows to the audience that Ross is putting off going to open the door and having to see his son leave. "James, you know this is the last time we're going to be together for a while," is what Ross says to his son. This creates an element of mystery and intrigues the audience to find out why he is not going to be seeing him. "I love you, Daddy" is then shot at a high angle for the father's perspective. Here we go. And it shows that it emphasises to the audience that they have a strong, caring relationship with each other. Along with the change in music, there is then an over-the-shoulder shot of Ross reading a letter. The letter says that he's lost full custody of his child. This makes the audience see the darker side of him, as he lost it due to his alcoholism history. Here we see a clip of the chief talking to Ross. The 180-degree rule is broken in this clip as the characters switch perspectives. This can suggest to the audience that the characters have two different sides to themselves, a good side and a bad side. When we recorded this clip, the microphone wasn't working, so we had to record the audio separately in a sound booth and layer it on top of the clip. So that the recorded voiceovers weren't too crisp, we added ambient sound to make it sound as if it was real.
There's a great problem with the uprising of a large gap, somewhat slightly floating on the side of the bank.
This series of shots illustrates what the chief is saying to Ross in the fact that there's a new drug gang rising in Brighton. This voiceover is a typical convention of classic noirs, and it helps to illustrate to the audience a clear narrative. Here we see a shot of Jordan, who is the drug gang leader. The clip comes with a change of music, and the clip is shot using the rule of thirds, and Jordan is placed on the right third. This shows that he is an important character and that he's potentially dangerous. The mise en scène in this scene is also highlights his importance, as he's wearing a suit and he's handling money. Here we see a drug exchange happening with a new character also in a suit walking in. This illustrates that he is also important, and by having him on the right rule of thirds, it just emphasises his importance. It also links to the voiceover that when the chief says drug trafficking, this is a scene of it happening actually. Drugs and murder are a convention of new neo-noir films, and this is why we thought it would be effective to have it in R. Here we're introduced to a new character who is called Alex. We see him wearing a police uniform. This suggests to the audience that this is how Ross and Alex know each other. Also he says, we've been through a lot together, so just be safe. This emphasises to the audience their relationship and that they've been friends for a long time. And he cares about Ross and he doesn't want him getting hurt.
But this is different. But they say.
This shot and the previous shot show Ross with the drug gang drinking and doing drugs. This is a complete contrast to his personality at the beginning of the trailer, where he's shown as a loving father, but now he's here shown being in a drug gang. This shows that he has a good side to him as well as the bad side. This is a typical convention of all neo-noirs, that the protagonist is corrupt in some way. We also hear in the voiceover that he has got to get into the gang. The first scene is him sitting with two of the other members of the drug gang, whereas the second one is him with the chief and the distributor. Not the chief, the leader and the distributor. This shows that he is progressing through the mission and that he's building a stronger relationship with the leader. This is also seen when he pats his shoulder. This shot here is shown Ross driving away in his car. He is shown driving away from Alex. This suggests to the audience that he is pulling away from his old life and driving towards These two shots show a masked man walking towards a door in low-key lighting. Low-key lighting is a typical convention of neo-noir, and we decided to utilise it to keep the identity of the man hidden, so the audience questions who he is and what he's doing. The wall light has conventions like hope and everything. This convention is completely contrasting as the man pulls out his gun and pulls the trigger. Along with the showing of the drug, there is a climax in the music which shows something bad is about to occur.
What's happening? He's been stabbed.
Here we see a shot of the leader asking Ross what has happened, and Ross replies he's been stabbed. This shows to the audience that Jordan and Ross's relationship is getting stronger, and that he can trust him to tell him the full story.
What's this stuff?
Here we see the introduction of the femme fatale. She is wearing heavy makeup, smoking, and she is being very seductive. These are three of the main characteristics of a classic femme fatale. She is also placed on the left rule of thirds. This shows her importance, that she is one to look at. Also, when she says, no he hasn't, this shows that she knows about him, but he may not know about her. He's my way in. This shows to the audience that he's still attempting his mission, even though the previous shots have shown him with the drug gang. This shows he has a questionable moral code, because he is doing bad by deceiving the drug gang to do good and to basically bust them.
Should I kill him?
He then asks himself, should I kill him? To which he replies, I have to. This is questioning himself and reflecting on his actions. Even though he knows it's bad, he knows he has to do it, but his sense of right and wrong can be clouded, and he now doesn't know which is right and which is wrong.
I have to.
In the previous scene of Ross, we see him hard at work with a lot of paperwork. Now, in the shot of Alex, we see that he's quit his job. This shows that Ross has a flipped personality, and that he has aspects of good and bad. But this is a classic convention of noir in the fact that he is being corrupted. This scene here plays on the conventions of femme fatale, because typical conventions are manipulative and seductive, whereas here she's depicted as weak, and by saying, how did you get a girl like me to fall in love with a guy like you? This shows that she's weak and vulnerable. In this shot here, we see a shadow of a man holding a gun. This creates mystery because he has a hidden identity. Also, with the use of low-key chiaroscuro lighting, half of the room is lit and half of the room is in shadow. This can suggest the battle between good and bad, and that split personality. In this shot here, we hear the femme fatale saying, it's either him or me. This then converts back to the typical conventions of a femme fatale, showing that she's manipulative, controlling, and dictatorial. In this shot here, we see Ross shouting to his reflection, asking himself what is he doing, and questioning his actions. This shows a split personality, and that he's becoming corrupted because it is completely different actions to how he was at the beginning of the trailer. He is reflecting on himself and his actions and asking, why me? This is a typical convention of noir, in that the characters reflect on their actions and realise what they've been doing is wrong. It shows that he's having a battle with his inner self and shows the dark side of human nature, and that everybody is capable of doing dark actions. Here we see the coming soon title. Titles are a typical convention of trailers, and they help establish the trailer and say what is happening and when it's being released. And we use smoke because smoke has connotations of mystery and also is a classic element of noir. In these two shots, we see the femme fatale and and Ross mirroring each other, both by holding guns. The gun is the focus point in the images, which shows that it's dangerous, and there's also a element of good versus bad, because Ross is depicted as this police officer and Lila is depicted as being a evil, manipulative femme fatale. Here we see the film title, which is shown. It came into the screen by chopped editing. We chose our film to be called Underhand because it suggests that it's the underbelly of society, and it has connotations of like deceitfulness. The last thing we included in our trailer was a credit block. This is because it's a convention of trailers, and it lets the audience know who produced, distributed, directed, created, edited the trailer. And also at the bottom it says coming soon. This tells the audience that it's coming soon, and trailers are usually produced a while before the films are actually put out into cinemas. This coming soon creates anticipation for the actual movie. Throughout our trailer we use fast-paced editing, just because this was one of the elements of trailers, and it helps our trailer actually look like a trailer. That's all I've got to say really. Thank you, I hope you enjoyed.